drug dealer. Now they got.
I could be wrong, but it could be. I know they came in and they talked about it, and Charles was gonna go look at the road, and they were gonna figure out what it needed to bring it up to standards, and then the 1-year countdown would start on it. And I think he was in a while back, late last year, and Charles was gonna go look at it.
Charles never got over it. I don't think, did he?
Not that I know of.
There was a only reason we go over because they were too big to it.
I know. Yeah.
Threatened to whip him or something like
I get threatened every day. I had somebody catch me yesterday because I wouldn't let them drive through flood water.
Cave Road.
Yeah.
that. Imagine that.
BMF me and stowed gravel and took off up Creek and Cave Road, and I thought, I had one person sitting there
Don't you have a
thanking me
light
for
on
what-
top of your truck?
Well, I started walking toward the vehicle, but they sped off. I was gonna talk to them about it.
Turn that yellow light on, chase them down.
Put a sign up, said Spring Road closed. Guy followed me all the way down to the river. So I put tape across, I was like.
All right, this time we'll call the regular county commission meeting order. Server have a quorum, consent agenda, approve the minutes.
I'll move. I'll second.
All in favor? No ARPA?
That's.
He usually comes on Thursday anyway. What time Tammy coming, you know? You heard? The hell, I'm getting, I don't know. Honey-do list, I got beat up for the week.
You too, huh?
Oh, yeah, my phone went off and I see it was from my wife, already knew it was a long list. Things she wanted done. I was like, the boy was in there. He goes, you take this, I'll take that. Been able to get your logs out of, Dave hadn't been able to get his out, he said. He can move them around, but he goes, can't get the truck in there to load the big truck and get them out.
Nobody can get anything done.
He's been working on the hay equipment. He goes, I can't even hay, and I got it ready to go.
Nobody can do anything.
Then we were talking about this morning, the weatherman the other day said, well, you farmers, you got about a day and a half to 2 days. You can get your hay done and get out of there before it rains again. You didn't realize you got to let it dry. Then you got to cut it, let it dry, rake it. You ain't gonna get, the weathermen don't know nothing.
Did you see what happened on Highway 54 yesterday?
It happened also in DeSoto.
Yeah.
MoDOT got called out to
To pile
clear the road.
the ice off the road.
Yeah, DeSoto,
Yeah.
it was golf ball size and it was like that deep down there. They had like 4 or 5 inches of straight hail on the roads. Wow. Lake No, Lake Ozark's up there on, was it 54?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I was watching a guy on the basketball get hammered.
yeah. You imagine? I remember when I was a kid, I was walking back and we had the old metal gas can. I bought a brand new gas can because I mowed lawns as a kid. I was so proud of I paid for it myself. And I'm walking home from Western Auto with it. It started to
That lady's in there, beats the window out of the car. Look at it all over the road. I asked somebody at the end of time that's coming. I mean, it's plowing ice off the roads in June. Horrible.
Ours we got about $5,000 damage to both of my van and our car.
Yeah,
Yeah, that last storm.
yeah.
It is. Tractor coming up.
He said he'd be in here sometime. I just talked to him this morning.
Oh,
Yes.
Well, I had to send a group over to the Ross Bridge this morning. Somebody had took all the cones that was on the bridge, blocking the guardrail and that orange fencing. It was all over the river over the weekend. I stole it.
gift certificates. I get them out of Christmas time. Usually get $200 or $300.
It's the official newsletter of the commissioners.
No, it's Ags are ready. Y'all have some.
Yeah, brief you on our homework.
Did you have that here the other day?
Hmm?
Was that you guys that got called out over by the church?
Yeah.
Figured it was. Didn't have you do the 111, did it?
No,
Oh,
this was,
that was sad.
we spoke to Google, detective spoke to Google and Google, sent us the paperwork to get the call or get the IP address from the call, and the IP address showed California. It was made by it was made over a Google call. How they got the address, how they got the information of anything, because we've been there before. But
Nothing.
there's no way we're still looking into it, but, I mean, with the way IP addresses are, I mean, if it's showing California, but was it a VPN where it bounces everywhere, where it bounces so we canvassed the area, we made sure everybody was safe in the area, and,
I think you guys talked to several homeowners and stuff.
Oh, yeah.
down there.
Makes it miserable now. So
Well, and using a lot of resources.
Yeah.
it's almost like a threat here.
Sure, can you specify the resources? You had mutual aid from other entities as well, correct?
no,
Well, you had at least Pulaski and this right there. Anybody besides?
well, yeah, no.
Okay, so only the sheriff's department. Okay, thank you, sir.
Yeah.
So we did our research, like you guys know, we spoke about. So there is an agency in Missouri that uses Tyler technology. They use it twice now. It's Cole County. Mind you, Cole County, there's 10 of them ladies that does what Pam does. So there was pros and cons with it. They don't like it as much as their other company they're going to. And it's a local company that does RMS, JMS, and LMS. And that's why they're going to this. Now, she did speak to Hall County in Nebraska. That's the closest one to us that uses Silver Process with Tyler. They absolutely loved it. They said they did it all by hand, and this actually does it for you. So, and she also wanted me to let you guys know that this year she's done 774 civil papers just this year. So, and mind you, they take anywhere from an hour to an hour and 15 minutes per paper from start to finish. So,
And I think the other problem with Cole County too was the permissions.
yeah.
Um, they said if they would have had, if they would have full permissions to do everything they need to do, then it may have worked out better for them, but because they were left out of, and I think we even talked to,
Tyler. Oh, we talked to
Matt down here.
and
He loves it. It's a good, I think there's some permissions that, well,
the biggest issue was they couldn't go in and edit names and stuff. And that's a permissions based.
Yeah.
You know that yourself, and with Tyler. They couldn't see how much was in the bank reconciliation unless they logged into their bank account, which, I mean, that's a permissions based thing too. So,
and there would be no reason not to give Pam full, I mean, she's doing it all, so she would have full permission, and I guess or
you and her would have.
I would be the admin more or less.
Be more than one on it.
Yes. It would probably,
So
me
you
as, a-
got checks and balances.
Right.
yes,
Yeah.
me as the admin, to give those permissions,
So
or
the
take
auditors
permissions
will
away.
Look
Right.
into it. I'll tell
Absolutely.
you right now,
And-
the auditors will dig that up.
Yeah. And then, because when Kim's out, Pam helps with Kim's job, and when Pam's out, Kim helps with her job. So I don't think Kim,
I won't have
You
the
won't
permissions that
permit-
Pam or the sheriff will have, but I will have input permissions. So,
How much was it?
my,
34 or 36,000, I think.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
and then the 68.
Yeah.
Did any of those, folks, comment on how it was working out as far as, paying back and any of that? I mean, how was it,
Well, the other agencies are larger agencies, so I
didn't
mean,
have no.
we really
stuff on
didn't
that?
ask them those specific
Phelps
questions.
County back
They did say it was
Figured out
more
we had a friend of mine at house.
accurate. You can keep track of
He did
everything
that.
better.
every day for him. But he'd get a stack like this, and he get a stack done like that, sir. Before we get back to the office, he'd have another stack.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Phelps County, yeah, they have what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 or 6 in their office.
But he was reserved. That's all he did. That's
Yeah,
all he wanted to do
And we
anymore.
used to have a full-time paper server back in the day. We also had reserves that would come in and do nothing but serve paper. That is actually been dropped on the deputies now. The deputies are serving.
It's hard to find someone. That's all he loved to do. Because he was on the road all the time, and he decided he wanted to do papers only.
Yeah.
That's all he would do.
Mhm.
But he'd tell me, he goes, I got a stack like that. Time I get it done in 2 days, he goes, I'd have another stack
Yeah.
working like that for me.
And that's how I
That's how
mean,
it used to be with,
this morning I checked the mail for just Pam and she had a stack of garnishments and civil process papers that from the weekend mail that she has to input and put them out for service. Now, if this program could help her input them faster, she can get them out there for service faster and get them back and send off. So
What are other counties using?
most of them are using all of the in combined stuff. Like Crime Star has a civil process, but it doesn't do checks, it doesn't do receipts, it doesn't do anything. Some of them are using, what was that company that we talked with?
Omnigo.
Omnigo. That's what Lee County and them were
I mean,
using.
they're like $300,000-$400,000.
And that's all
I've-
combined.
I've talked to several different to get
Vendors.
rid of.
Crime Star.
I mean, Omnigo or the last one, the one we talked to last, it came and gave a demonstration, but it doesn't do that.
It doesn't
They didn't do
get-
civil
yeah.
service. Omnigo did civil service. But we're talking $300,000-$400,000 a year.
A lot of those aren't just civil process. They're JMS, which is jail, LMS, which is law, and then civil process, and then you got your other stuff, CAD. All of them sell as one. They don't just sell individually. Like Tyler sells individually. They have CAD, they have accounting, they have civil process and stuff like that. So,
They're each a standalone.
Yeah.
That's a huge issue. I mean, we're able to manage. I mean, Crime Star is the cheapest you're ever going to find, but it doesn't put everything together in one nice package with your evidence with your evidence is done on a totally separate computer system that we
Under
paid
different
$1,500 for. Then 25,000 for Crime Star, whatever it is, and then, but with some of these systems, I mean, it's all like Omnigo, it's all packaged up. But again, it's 300 some $1,000, and they'll split and like give you JMS, but not RMS. They'll give you RMS, but not the civil.
Are there other systems out there that will do what Tyler's doing?
We've searched and um, we've come across empty-handed, honestly.
What we have here, correct?
And that's, we asked them if, but again, it's a separate, because
Separate
why can't
module.
we add this to, and would it be cheaper? But they can't do that.
And like I said, with Cole County, they went to Tyler twice. They got rid of it the first time and went back to it. Now they're going to a system that's based out of Jefferson City. And it's everything combined. It's got civil, the JMS elements, all of it, CAD. So
They say what that was? I mean, I don't know if they,
vaguely remember it, but they said the cost was like 500 and something thousand. So
well, it's a class 1 county too.
Yeah.
and they can afford to have 10 civil processors. So
Or I, you know,
They don't have that
10
in
civil
budget, do they?
processors, then, or 5.
And the main reason behind a lot of my questions on the others out there is because with the cost of it, we gotta make sure that you do
Done
all
our
your
research,
due
yeah.
diligence, and that we have backup that shows that we just didn't run out.
Unless, I mean, the ultimate plan would have been to try to get a system like Omnigo that does everything. Plus, I mean, the benefit with Omnigo is they are also tied into secured AI. So I take a picture of Gene and I can search just every agency that has Omnigo. I can see where, if he's been in their jail with the facial recognition, but it's also true, which would be a great, I mean, there's a lot of sheriff's offices, law enforcement offices but again, they're all, you know, bigger departments. Except for, like Richland uses Omnigo, but they use a
So what is their total
watered down version.
on this? There's so many different total numbers.
Yeah, it's,
I see 36, I see 42, I see 38.
36 is the system.
Is the system.
36,240.
Yeah,
and
36,000
then-
is the yearly.
Yearly maintenance that we
So
have to come
You
up
gotta
with.
go
that.
36 plus the 6.
Yes.
So it's 42 to start it.
4245.
Glasses.
Get you some contacts, Gene.
Yeah, they did just jumble this crap up.
Mhm.
think what we need to do is we need to see what, their contract and everything looks like as far as how easy it is to
I-
get out of.
I can get Mark to come down and speak with you guys if you would
Or if
like.
we can get a copy to the
Yeah.
prosecutor.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah. I got it. Office.
So we'll get Mark down here.
Also, the mothers you called, just get a,
Get a base, quote.
Just kind of document everybody.
you don't have to
Yeah,
get
I
a
mean,
quote, but
we-
document it. that
We
you
spoke
talked
with
to
Phoenix, we spoke with Omnigo and, there was a few others.
It was on the go.
Phoenix.
Phoenix was cheaper, but it doesn't do that.
It doesn't write checks and it doesn't do invoices or receipts or anything like that. So it does the base, you put it in. That's it. That's what Crime Star does. You can put it in, but it doesn't do anything further than that.
Yeah, get that information.
Okay. I'll write up the Phoenix and
No.
thank you, gentlemen.
Thanks.
Have a good day.
Thank you for the
Let me
update.
see if I can get a hold of you.
All right.
Tammy, Gene's trying to get hold of Hector, see if Hector wanted to come up while you were here. So we're not putting you off. We're trying to.
This number downstairs, you know? You text him and call him. Hello. Yeah. Hey, Tammy's here with the SEMA and the hazardous mitigation. Hazardous mitigation, the SEMA
I'm in my PC.
from MRPC. No, she's there this morning, in our meeting. Yeah. Okay. Bye. He's on his way. The June 18th, I got no. Today. Give him about 10 minutes, he'll be here. 5, 10 minutes.
Hector was talking about on the 18th, I'm sorry, Alan. On the 18th, we're having that tabletop exercise.
Right.
In the Fort Leonard. Wood.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've been working with them on that. And I would hope someone from the county will be able to attend that. I've got that now.
We'll be there.
Right.
We do it here. We do an exercise here every year in the county. And it's kind of neat.
Is that not this Wednesday, but next?
Yeah,
I've got a doctor's appointment that day.
it's next week.
Yeah. I think I'll have to check, but I think I do.
It'll be over at the health department. They're taking it over there.
Is that where it's gonna be? I thought it was gonna be on Fort Wood at first.
Well, they're doing their part of it on Fort Wood.
Mhm.
We'll have one liaison in with our group, and then we'll be doing it full screens.
Oh, because I'm supposed to be out on Fort Wood.
But they are also doing an exercise.
Yeah.
But they're doing their part, then they're gonna join us about halfway through ours.
On the screen, on TV.
Um,
Does one of you guys wanna go over there? I'll go and post.
Yeah, I can go with it.
Okay. These other ones I put in there just for these reasons. I call it disaster, so they miss something. I got it. It comes up every year. Every year.
But I did notice they had a $52,000 increase in their law enforcement tax for May. I mean, is he got a category that can come out of?
I don't know.
Yeah, but
You gotta
you're
look at
talking
the year.
5 months, but then
Yeah.
what happens if over the next few months it
Yeah.
drops?
See, it'll
But I mean, then you can go back to this if you had to.
You could, yes. Yeah.
You know, you could go back to this if you had to, but, you know, yeah,
Yeah,
I'm
it
sure.
was a good month.
Yeah, but I, you know, and I'm sure,
I've always seen it though over the years.
yeah, but the last few years though, it hasn't stable. I mean, it hasn't went down a whole lot.
It's steady.
It's
Yeah.
been steady, you know, and so I mean, I would forecast it, you know,
So that 20% increase for May, you may see a 10% drop in.
What happens is when you see a big increase, one of your bigger retailers didn't paid late.
like quarterly.
And it comes in and then the next month it just drops. It'll equal out within 5%. That number,
Yeah. I mean, we can always hope that we maintain that.
Yeah.
Continue on that. That would
but
be
that's
great.
the normal trend of it. But hey, you never know. It could, yes. I remember Pulaski County told me what over $80,000 up last month. Tell me what happens next month. But I guarantee it, one of your big people there in town paid late. They did.
But ours is catching up quicker than what I thought it would do.
Yeah.
Gene, do y'all wanna look at the contract that I brought?
Yeah. We
I
can
got
look at
3
it.
copies. So you want
Yeah,
to look
you can
at
come on
that?
up. We can go ahead and get started.
And this is the standard contract that, SEMA sends out for the hazard mitigation plan update. They do it every 5 years.
Yep.
And the money came late this year because the draft in this contract, you'll see the draft is actually due in August, which is impossible. So we've already gotten an extension for it. The plan will expire in January But as long as you're working on a plan, that will not hold you up as far as grant funds if you decide to apply for a hazard mitigation. We got that all lined out with SEMA. They just had trouble with funds coming through because of all the changes at the federal level. And it is kind of a three-way contract with SEMA, MRPC, and the county.
Well,
Snodgrass. Subsidy there and unpaid acres. Reading.
Oh.
Pulaski Talks.
Okay,
Live on.
we have a contract from SEMA,
Sweet.
the Meramec Regional Planning Commission. I'm sorry, I'm Tammy Snodgrass with Meramec Regional Planning Commission. Nice to meet you. We have a contract from the Missouri State Emergency Management Agency to do an update of the county's hazard mitigation plan. And for anyone who doesn't understand what that is actions you take before a disaster occurs, to reduce or eliminate risks, damages, that sort of thing. So, the plan has to be updated every 5 years. And the plan also, continues the county's eligibility to apply for hazard mitigation grants after a disaster. And Missouri is never short on disasters, so we have hazard mitigation funds just about every year.
From the state or federal.
It would be federal funneled through the state.
Yeah.
You're welcome.
So just the updated one that you're presenting right now.
The current one is almost 5 years old. It will expire in January. This will be the update for the next 5 years.
That is the updated one.
This is the contract to do the work.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, but as far as the LEPC, we have to update our things every year or two, so we can probably just copy off.
Well, this is not an emergency response plan,
Okay.
so it's not gonna have things from for your LEOP.
Okay.
I mean, you might find something in there that would be helpful. Tammy,
5 years ago,
guy.
Ryan Hicks had to do this. 'Cause
I'm good.
we
How
went
are
to a
you?
full-time OEM. This had to get done like,
Gentlemen.
it was supposed to already be done.
Oh,
And
Tour.
he went, and MRPC helped Ryan 5 years ago, originally helped put this together because it was getting ready to lapse.
Mhm. Yeah, we usually we get a year to 18 months lead time
Mhm.
with the funding, but we only got 2 months this time. So
Yeah.
we've got that extension already approved. The approval came through today. But yeah, I think the first one we did for Pulaski was probably back in about 2010.
Mhm.
Yeah, because we've updated it a couple of times.
But they needed a bunch of new updated stuff, so Ryan had to go out and get information to get to MRPC. You know, a
Yeah,
lot of information. There's a
yeah.
lot of information involved in this.
Yeah, the questionnaires we send out are what take the longest to get just
It covers
collecting
everything
data.
from treatment plants to, you name it, any infrastructure that's out there,
Policies,
policies,
yeah, ordinances,
ordinances, plans, covers everything.
and it's, yeah, it's, not just the county, it's the cities
cities
and the
that-
school districts.
Yeah. Yeah, I'll explain that to him right here in the back. I remember right.
Yeah, there's a list somewhere in the back
Yeah,
few
I'll get him all
pages.
this. Like third or fourth, here it is. Must be it.
Probably that one right here.
City, this covers Pulaski County, City of Crocker, City of Dixon, City of Richland, City of St. Robert, City of Waynesville, Dixon School District, Crocker School District, Sweetburg School District, Richland School District, Lakewood School District, and Waynesville School District.
I thought we already have we have.
We have to be, it has to be updated every 5 years. Every 5 years, it's gotta be updated.
So we rely upon Hector to do all those by himself.
Well, I'm gonna go way back. I'm gonna go back to where we had just had a volunteer before we hired a full-time OEM.
Oh, so no.
When we got the first OEM full-time, they were already on the clock for a while and didn't know it. And Ryan had to go meet with MRPC, and they went through this thing page by page. And they sent out all over the county, all the infrastructure, everything that needed to be in there, plus plans, plus. So now we got a pretty good system going from where we started. But it affects a lot of grants, and you have to have this to get the grants.
But this only affects the FEMA hazard mitigation grant plan, right?
Well, actually, CDBG grants,
Yep.
they've started looking at the hazard mitigation plans
Yeah.
as well. And we do these, SEMA contracts with regional planning commissions across the state to cover all the counties.
Right.
To make sure that they get that.
It's my understanding that the FEMA hazard mitigation plan looks like it may be dissolving or disappearing here soon.
I haven't heard that, but there's a lot of changes coming down, so.
So is MRPC gonna help me do this?
Yeah, the contract is, I'm just gonna ask you questions.
Yeah.
Hector, and have you come to some meetings. Usually we have about 3 meetings for it.
So you tell us, so I want to see his face.
Yeah, when I got the contract and it said it was due in July of this year, I
Yeah.
got freaked out. Yeah, but we got the extension.
Usually got a year and a half.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I've never done one in less than 12 months. It's that's tight.
Just remember AI is your friend.
We had coffee yesterday.
But are there any other questions?
I mean, I've been through it enough. I understand. But these gentlemen haven't. That's why, if you guys have any questions,
I don't.
but you can always refer back to MRPC when you have. Their door's always open for questions or anything on it.
Well, Tammy, when do you want to first meet?
Well,
Yes,
can we wait till after the exercise? Maybe July? Have our first meeting in July, is that possible?
Yeah. Or this, yeah, of course it's possible. If this is highly important for the county, I'll make it work. Yeah,
And that'll be our kickoff
the
meeting.
first week of July, I'm a little, well, might be taking a little time off, family.
Oh, sure.
But with that said, I stay in the county, so my schedule is pretty open. Huh?
You were taking.
Yes, I guess I would.
Well, after we get done here, if you want,
Yeah.
I've got my calendar with me and we can figure out a day.
Now you're here, the fire deal. Where are we supposed to convene?
That's a good question.
Yeah, 'cause I'm part of the planning committee for the site.
Thank you.
Just doing it merely for help.
Let me sit down with Sam when I get back and that, I think that's due in October,
Yeah.
maybe? Yeah, okay. Yeah, we probably need to get to work on that.
Let me go talk to the chair real quick and,
Okay.
when you're done, we can sit down and, come up with a schedule.
Sounds good. Thank you, Hector.
So you get a motion.
I'll make a motion that we go ahead and sign the contract.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
While we're talking about it, there is
Just means.
match funds in there.
83.
Yeah. Do you all want to, pay that this year? We can split it between 2 fiscal years for you. What would be better?
We can split it.
Yeah.
That's what we'll do.
Three copies.
It'll go to the state. They'll put their signature and then I'll get you all an original copy.
Yeah, because James is gonna sign it yet. Mr. Remillard.
Copy one of those.
Oh, sure. Any other questions, gentlemen? I'll get out of your hair.
I don't
On any issues?
No.
If I don't know the answer, I can get one from somebody else at MRPC. All right. Thank you so much.
I'll get it down.
You bet.
Yeah, Remillard is over this. He's the one that had us, made us go, basically pushed us to go to full-time OEM. You're not getting in place with the roads, are you? You know, I haven't seen your friend on here lately. On Spring Road. I haven't seen her send
Oh,
messages lately.
Just got paved all the way to the end, so I think she should be pretty happy.
Oh, now it's the gravel past the bridge, ain't it? She's gonna find something. She's the mayor of that area. There's a mayor in every area. Or the Blue Jay that's up there. Somebody ring my doorbell?
Buddy,
Yep.
For Thursday, still confirmed for the the facility information brief. Tony Glassix.
I didn't hear what you said.
Yeah, for the Thursday meeting, are you still confirmed to have the mitigation brief by?
He's coming in, I think, isn't he? Yeah.
You're referring to the youth facility on Reporter Road?
Yeah, yes, sir.
Okay. So Tony Lassix, Dave, just confirming, Tony Lassix is coming in to give a briefing regarding the youth facility on Reporter Road on Thursday.
Yeah, let me look. Agenda.
That's getting a lot of attention. I want to make sure it's correct for the report.
I think coming up here shortly, they've got a tour that the seven,
Yeah.
is it like on the 13th? Is it open to the public or just?
They said it was, but at first it just said certain people, but then they said public welcome.
Well, I could draw a crowd.
I'll see my comments. I've seen the pictures.
No,
Can you,
I mean,
He's supposed to be here Thursday.
Thursday, and any set time or just the usual whatever? Now, can any of you confirm the reports that the numbers are over 700 kids in the facility?
now if you read it, Daryl, the first phase is 100.
Okay,
But if they finish all of it out, it would be 700, over 700.
okay. So you're not looking at going from 0 to 700?
No,
0 to 100
no, people, you gotta read it.
Thank you. That's what I need to know.
Yeah.
I think I might have to have 2 cameras for Thursday. And for the audience reaction.
Just get a wide screen. Like the boys I got next door to me, guy next door to me has 5 boys all the time. They're gonna rotate out. I haven't had a problem with them, but
Yeah.
that's a different clientele. That's what people ask me. I said, I don't know what kind of clientele as far as
Yeah.
problems these kids got. I don't know.
Yeah.
I can't comment on something that I really
Yeah.
don't know.
What's the severity of their
Correct.
problem? Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I got 5 that live next door to me, but these kids, I come home, man, my yard mowed. Snow on the ground, I get up and the driveway's cleared, the sidewalk cleared, so I go out and smoke them some meat and send it over to them. We have a good relationship. They see my wife hauling something, they'll go grab it and move it forward. So, hey,
Yeah.
like everything else, there's good and bad and everything.
There is.
I get the kids that kind of went through, some gone through juvenile, some just go through, just children's services. But
Yeah.
it seems like these kids just want to be a part of something.
They need somebody. Yeah.
They need some structure around them. I took them all to the barbecue contest and had them compete. The kids, oh, they loved it. They go, know how to cook. I said, you're gonna learn. You're gonna learn.
I went down Saturday, my son-in-law got selected by Walmart to compete in
Truck rodeo
a
thing.
truck rodeo deal down in,
Yeah, if you're correct spelling of Tony Lassic's last name, it's the Lacacz.
they had 6 deals that they had to complete.
LAFCAC.
And this first one, there's a square here on the ground that you can't, but they had to put their faster tire in that square.
They're inside of a building
Uh-huh.
too. I'll be darned. How long's he been driving for
A
him?
year.
Looks like he's doing pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
And Walmart's usually got some top-notch drivers.
Well, there's 400 drivers out of St. alone.
Looks like he's got it.
Mm-hmm. Then the next one they had to come up here, they had to stop so many feet from the railroad tracks. There's a railroad track there, and they get scored on all 6 of them. And he did really good for being the first. Some of those guys have been there 15 years competing and stuff. The next one they had to turn and see how close you could come to a tire that was laying in the road without hitting it. And then at the same time, you had to be turning to go. Your front bumper had to hit all these tennis balls they had as you were making the turn.
Huh.
And it was a pretty neat deal.
You had to sit out and design a course.
Mm-hmm. They did you had to do your walkthrough. And his truck that he was doing his walkthrough on, of course, you had to check all your tires and all this other stuff, but they taped a grenade to the frame. And he found it, but he said you just don't know what they're going to do to your walkthrough inspection. It was pretty neat competition. I thought, how are they going to do this indoors with these big semi trucks, But it was pretty neat.
Ooh,
Have we ever got that, copy of that contract for, our employee to sign for his CDLs?
No, I keep forgetting to ask the sheriff about that.
I need,
sheriff, I thought you guys worked with the sheriff.
I know I've paid his deposit, and on July 9th and 10th is his schooling. So on the day of July 9th, I will have to have a check to Ozark CDL for the balance of $1,300. So he can take it. Yeah.
I'll look and see if it's going to be paid this week.
Yeah, they said he'll have to take the check with him on the day of the 9th, and then, I've already told him how it was gonna work, and, he said that he was probably aware that would happen,
That's
so,
going out of wrong.
yep. Out on 72, yeah.
Yep. See him.
The dump commissioner contest at the regional county fair.
Huh?
What?
Who I?
So,
I've done that once.
I was gonna start the rumor.
Mr.
Hey.
Tyler, we've been done for the last 5 months and rain.
Where was
Goes
it?
on right after the commission.
Yeah,
Daryl, where was that?
Not do it.
let's just get a
Where
big
was
tank.
it? I was in one of them dump things for one of these groups somewhere. I don't remember where it was at.
Yeah, I vaguely remember, but I couldn't tell
I
you.
think it was the sheriff's department I did one.
I've had enough water.
I just didn't remind the parent on it.
It was pretty bad when I got in the tank and I looked up and the line grew really quick.
Yeah,
And then the bad thing is one of them walked up and just hit the thing.
That's not the way it works.
Yeah, I'm vaguely remembering.
Maybe it's
the
because
only-
I was a smart ass.
If you're loved or hated, you,
I was sitting up there talking smack on that little board, people throwing the ball, couldn't hit it. Oh, yeah.
somebody-
Yeah, one of the military guys walked up there and just hit it. Can't remember who it was. It was a general. Somebody showed up. I don't remember who it was. They walked up and hit it. You know,
Yeah, I remember out at Fort Leonard Wood on one of those July 4 events. They had a drill sergeant in a dunk tank, and they found a guy who had been a high school baseball champ who got almost every single hit on the thing. People were giving him the $1, just hit him and hit him and hit him and hit him. And the comment being made by the drill sergeant near the end of that is, just remember, I can't punish you for what you're doing here, but I'm looking for your next thing you deserve. You can't do that, however.
I was sitting there and then some kid come up, young kid. He didn't miss. No, he didn't miss. No, because it needs to be kind of like one of them little bitty metal targets like that. Instead of that
Yeah.
big, kind of like the fair. They got that basketball goal. The ball barely fits through it. Yeah, I said next time I come up, I'm gonna bring one of those little metal plate that's gonna be smaller than a teacup.
if I would have moved fast enough, I'd have hit Hector's phone. He's coming back. He's looking for it right now. Yeah. We ain't seen.
Hello?
You're looking for it.
Hey, Hector.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh, there it is. Oh.
Your wife called me, told her to go ahead and buy that new car.
Yeah, we told her, go ahead. Hector
Did
said
you tell
go
her the
for it.
truck?
We
Yeah,
told her
well,
whatever
yeah,
she
she's
wanted.
looking in the truck. All right.
Yeah.
Good.
You're good.
Hector, are you gonna be here Thursday for the meeting with people from that residential treatment facility?
No, I don't think I will.
Okay.
No, I mean, are they requiring any emergency management capability at this point?
Well, the reason I'm asking is years ago with some of the issues with Judy Tillett's facility, it was actually your office that raised the matter before the commission. That's why I'm asking if you're gonna be there. Okay.
Unless they tell me otherwise, I'm not planning on.
Thank you. That goes back to many days.
Oh, okay. All righty, I'll see you guys later.
See you, Hector.
Gene, so you know what I'm talking about. This may predate anybody on the commission currently. The Office of Emergency Management was concerned what would happen if you had a disaster hit, if you had a fire or some situation, and where the kids would go. They wanted to have an emergency plan in case they had to quickly evacuate the kids and where they'd be put. And that's something that Smitty brought up. It was pretty obvious that Smitty was encouraged by somebody else to bring it up. I can't tell you who did. It's a pretty good guess that came from the commission that they asked him to come. But officially, Smitty who brought it to the commission. You got some prior precedent on this. The issue was, it's private property. Why does the commission get involved? You have a potential emergency management reason to get involved. That was the only reason the commission felt that it had any jurisdiction to talk about this. That there was potentially a law enforcement response needed if somebody had an arson down there or if a tornado hit. What do you do with the kids? And that's why the commission felt it was legitimately county business. I'm not saying that's right or wrong. I'm just saying it came up before.
I'd watch the video. I mean, and he's talking about fire suppression systems and stuff. I mean, I'm sure there's gonna be some good questions asked about stuff. How many acres is that place sitting on?
I don't know.
I know it's several, I think.
They should have that information made for each other.
40 to 100. That sounds about right.
There would be no policies or guidelines within the county that would dictate them to have these requisite policies, procedures, or standards governing emergency management stuff. Water bill
Yeah, I don't believe.
internally.
Well, I mean, because we don't have planning and zoning, so, you know.
It's not a state.
Because I mean, it's not like you could walk to the front gate, let me see your SOP on fire protection.
Right.
And again, that was one of the issues that came up the last time they were dealing with Judy Tillett's facility. I do not remember Judy Tillett's facility was in Tri-County Fire Protection District in Waynesville. I think it was in Waynesville, but whichever the fire chief was, the statement was made by the fire chief that they had reviewed the matter. And the fire chief's attitude for the county commission was basically, this is not the ball game, it's ours. And we feel that plans are in place. The commission was not happy with that response, but the fire chief basically said, this is not your business, this is our business. So again, the question is, why does it come to commission? The argument can be made that there's an emergency service reason for coming to commission, but that you have no other legal route to go ask for questions, but they're coming to you. That's a different situation.
I think it's more of an informational brief. Where I communicated to Mr. Lazarus, recommending that he reach out to the commission.
Okay, so you were the one who suggested it, though. Okay,
Yes,
okay,
as a courtesy.
okay, thank you.
Well, I think the big issue where you have, I mean, it's not called Piney Ridge anymore, but the hospital premier, it's a state regulated facility where what I understand out on Reporter Road is going to be a faith-based facility. And it is two totally different
I can't imagine.
animals.
How do you know what that means?
It means that,
You go up and down Route 66, how many different states?
huh?
You go up and down
Figures
Route 66, how many different states do you have?
It's
He said faith, not faith.
faith,
State, yeah.
yeah, faith-based,
He said faith, with somebody, not faith.
yeah, and
Church.
yes, as in
That's
church.
why You go down.
Don't you love
Route
Mondays?
66, how many different ones?
Yeah, and I don't, like I said, it doesn't really matter what faith backs it, the reason,
I mean,
the main thing is
them
there's
people
no state
want to do-
regulations on how they're run, how anything.
Had the whole weekend off.
I seen.
Oh, yeah.
Based on the description, I seen the
Yeah.
church.
I don't complain.
I looked at where we fish down there. 320.
Oh,
The last similar one was
Tornadoes is in that area direct.
out on, where the Piney pours into the Cascade.
Right.
Hey, where we
There was a
fish,
family that had a
Grand Oklahoma
faith-based
had 3
organization
tornadoes.
there that had about 100 kids from all over the United States there.
That was a blue
That
can
town looks as big as
facility.
Springfield,
The guy's name,
bigger.
if I remember right, was David Day, no relation to state rep David Day.
This should start coming.
Yeah, the last name was Dave, but I don't think it's Dave,
They're coming.
but there was no relation.
We're getting there.
Thank you.
Couple more weeks of it, they'll go rise.
But that's the,
You're gonna pray for rain in July.
I was trying to find it.
It was hot.
There was a big lawsuit up north Missouri. The facility was called Heartland, not related to the Heartland in Nevada, but it was a faith-based organization.
That one in Springfield that was shut down.
Yeah, and they ended up in a lawsuit with the juvenile office. And but that changed a lot of regulations as far as faith-based organizations and stuff like that. I've been trying to find the case, but I can't. But that was back in 2000, somewhere around in there.
Found a bunch of them on there, but I don't know. There was a bunch of them with the Attorney General and
Yeah.
faith-based. There's a bunch of them.
Yeah. But they even, in our juvenile trainings, I mean, it was, you went through the Heartland training on what you could do and not do with faith-based organizations and I'll try to find that between now and Thursday.
Like Healing Hearts.
So they're gonna be here on Thursday. The folks on the,
Well, Tony's coming, I guess, give a briefing on to the community.
We told spitballs to come out.
yeah,
To keep them on stuff. Please do it for that. See how sharp the ankle's edge. Lean is meant be. I don't think you can hold that against.
uh-oh, yeah, no, I don't hold it against me. No. What if we get downstairs, they're gonna check something real quick, come back on. I'll be back on. Yeah.
A picture this weekend of a temporary tag on a Jeep that was, so 1225 at 22. What would be the penalty on that? That was crazy. But they did start cracking down on them now.
$200.
That it. No wonder they figured it out.
$50 a month. I don't have any idea.
I don't know, but that's what they probably figured it out now. Only cost me 200 not to do
Well, that's the same thing.
it. Yeah. They got to understand the
Somebody else was coming Thursday too, wasn't it?
who?
Thought we had something else happening Thursday too. Maybe I was thinking something else.
Shall we put the load on this motion?
Yeah, yeah. About Kevin's Bridge.
Yeah.
I was thinking there was something else.
As long as you're mentioning MoDOT, question for the Western District Commissioner. On the internet, there's been a number of comments regarding the new Amish families that are moving in near Richland. Has there been any consideration being given to putting up buggy signs like they have near Dixon? Is that something the county commission would consider doing, or perhaps asking MoDOT to do for the county roads, perhaps the state roads, I mean?
Yeah, we could do that. I haven't heard it be a problem yet or anything. What I heard is, isn't it in McLeod County over in the Hazel Green area?
Well, there's apparently several different families. Some of them are on Highway A, which would be the Cleve County, or at least across the county line. But apparently there are also ones involved in Highway 7 and Highway 133. So apparently it's more than one Amish family. And
Whose farm was
got
that?
people on
I
the
just
road
heard
seem to see the issues.
Well, I've got some moved in on us too,
Oh, yeah, over
on
there.
Creek Road.
Yeah, Charles Bassett sold his.
There's 5 or 6 families bought half of
Charles
Charles's farm, yeah. They've come in here from Ohio or somewhere out of state, but yeah,
Remember the
we've got a new community of them started too.
Amish coffee. You remember when I said?
Yeah, we'll check into that, Darryl. Like I said, I haven't. I mean, I drive the roads every day. I haven't seen any out or seen any
It's apparently very recent. They had an 18-wheeler van. Obviously, they hired somebody to do it, but they had an 18-wheeler van that apparently was pulling in just this past week. There have been buggies on the road going into Richland. If you're not familiar with the issues, there's two issues that come up with Amish that you don't typically deal with in road issues. Problem number one is obviously on winding curvy roads, you've got vehicles that are going at a very, very slow speed, and you've got potential traffic risk. The second issue you deal with, and this is something you're probably going to want to talk to the relevant bishop, depending on whether these are old order Mennonites or whether they're Amish, you're going to run into potential issues that some of them on religious grounds object to having the orange flags, which some counties and some states have required for slow moving vehicles. There are typically two compromises that have been made. One of them is that some of the even strictest Amish are willing to say, we will put lighted lanterns, kerosene lanterns on the back, even though we won't have electricity on our vehicle, we'll put lighted lanterns, and that's generally been viewed as an acceptable compromise by other states. But if you're dealing with old order Mennonites as opposed to Amish, most of them are okay with the triangle placard, things like that. But that's something you need to talk to the bishop to make sure you're not offending them, because there are serious religious issues in telling somebody to do something without giving them an accommodation. Other state courts, Missouri's probably never done anything with it, but other state courts have ruled that a kerosene lantern on the back is an acceptable accommodation for the religious objections to having electronic devices used for visibility at night.
I've noticed a lot of them's got a battery on there now with tail lights and
Most every one of them,
blinkers.
for sales, and they've got a battery in there and got caution
Tail lights
lights.
and front lights and blinkers.
And you know what, to drive on a county road in a four-wheeler or something, you have to have a triangle or a flag or something. So, I mean,
And that's the issue you're running into, that a lot depends on exactly what community you're dealing with, what they will and won't do.
yeah.
Most of the time, these people don't deliberately move into an area that they know that they can't comply with the regulations. They're looking for places that they can move into without a problem. But once in a blue moon, you get a problem, and it might be helpful to just be aware that there are court precedents on this issue. I don't think anybody here is trying to harass people, but these are
People
things that
ain't hard
could
to come
make
by
mistakes.
anymore. That's why they're buying whatever they can get.
I don't think there's such thing as cheap land.
No. You know, a guy bought 35 acres up there. He paid, it was the golly amount. It was river bottom, by the river. Somewhere up by Richland. But it was a ton of money he paid. 35 acres was something like 500,000.
I saw there was an ad for, it was in Phelps County. You could buy, they were not off river property. There was a 27-acre lot, 40-acre lot, and 45-acre lot. The 40-acre lot was 439,000 or something.
Mhm.
It was a little over, no, it was a little under 10,000.
Right at $10,000 an acre is what's going for on the river bottom.
Yeah.
I seen a rustic river cabin over the weekend with 0.26 acres sitting right on the water. It's like 300 and some odd $1,000.
Dave, I just accidentally promoted you to presiding commissioner. I'm gonna fix that right now.
Congratulations.
Yeah.
Now you're demoted.
Get the pay raise for.
0.26
Pay
acres.
cut.
Yeah.
He get the pay cut.
But I don't have to be here as much.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
True.
But you get more complaints.
You don't have a stack of paper back.
That's right.
Every office goes through your office pretty much. Your checks and balances where you gotta fill out paperwork against the other office.
I was wanting to see how Daniel was doing. He's been on the phone every time I went down there.
We talked to him. We spent down there earlier.
All you gotta do is sit there and watch all the people coming through it and yell, make you know.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Appreciate that.
Coffee, I got hammered on that one.
They come through with this in their hand, you know, they're going the same.
You're holding it up, I'll tell him. If you got one of these, you need to go see Daniel. Call Daniel, see if I felt that bus run over. We sent out blue papers. Ours went out as blue. Or Darius did. Funny
And have you-
that is.
Have you seen Senate Bill 3 that they've attached to the, you need to read Senate Bill 3 that they've attached to the, stadium bill.
What gets me is this senior tax freeze. You know, the state didn't allow theirs to be frozen or the blind.
Read Senate Bill 3.
Oh,
Yeah.
don't tell me.
Yeah, you need to read Senate Bill 3. Luckily, Pulaski County is one of the exempt counties, but there are 75 other counties that are gonna get it. Or it has to be on the April election.
They're giving them a tax break.
Mm-hmm.
They really want to read this.
Sure, we can't just fill up. Yes, sure, we can't just fill up.
You kids already, but well. Something on that?
No problem. No, just kidding.
So they're wanting to,
Fair. Oh, yeah.
so
That's an important thing, right?
there's a $6 and $12 they had to do a ticket. An event.
I don't think you've got the same Senate Bill 3 that we've got.
Am I reading this right?
Senate Bill 3 is,
I got the wrong one.
yeah, do you get that back?
Missouri Senate, here it is. That same one.
Do you get the
That
MAC?
says Crawford. Oh,
Yeah.
Crawford's a sponsor.
Do you get the MAC alert?
No.
It says,
Oh, yeah, I get that.
it's got it all outlined on, if you got that email, it's got it all outlined on there. They're wanting to adopt the property tax credit like the senior centers for every county. For everybody. It's over 62. For everybody, regardless if you're 62 or not.
Same one below again. So no matter if you're 62 or not,
Here is the something verbiage.
Is there one that they're wanting to,
Certain counties will place the ballot on the April elections, 2026. A question of whether to grant property tax credit to eligible taxpayers residing in such county. Residents are
described by as the owner of record or have legal or equitable interest in a homestead, and two, are liable for the payment of real property taxes on such homestead. The amount of the property tax credit shall be equal to the difference between the real property in a given year minus the real property tax on such homestead in the year in which the taxpayer became an eligible taxpayer. Divided that 5% for 5% counties, the real tax liability on an eligible taxpayer's homestead as becoming in the taxpayer's initial credit year may be increased by no more than 5% per year, or the percentage increase in the consumer product index, whichever is greatest. Or zero, the real property tax liability on an eligible taxpayer's homestead shall not increase above the liability incurred during the initial credit year. Credit granted pursuant to this act shall be applied when calculating the taxpayer's property tax liability for the year. The amount of credit authorized by a county pursuant to this act shall be considered as tax revenue actually received by the county for the purpose of calculating property tax levies. Even though if it passes, even though a credit would be issued, it would still be considered as revenue for the county. For the
But Pulaski County is one of the 17 counties that this will not affect. Did you read that?
Yeah. And how all that.
I don't know. See, I thought if the governor called a special session, the only thing that can be voted on is what he called them back for. And he got called them back for the stadium bill. And then they've added this on.
And they're putting all these amendments on.
Yeah. So I didn't think that they could vote on anything other than what the governor called them back for, but apparently not.
Evidently, if it was a bill that had been introduced and read, it could be attached as an amendment to what they're considering.
You guys think I can get a copy of that contract after moving?
I should.
Dave made a copy of it, I think.
Okay, got the feels like that.
You want me to make another copy or is that for me to keep?
I'll let you make a copy of my copy,
Okay.
or I can email it to you.
Yeah, it's all better.
Okay.
Much better.
Yeah, that's all I did.
See, I think some of that language, we do end up doing a tax equalization board meeting about the, I think some of that kind of gives us some direction too. With the 5% and, does that make any sense? I mean, if you,
I don't know. The way their language is, it's hard to decide.
Mhm. I just gotta think about that too, because, you know, it kind of sounds like they're trying to set some parameters, you know.
Yeah.
I didn't get anything else, Dean.
I'll make a motion.
I'll second it.
All in favor? I'm still going over the text. Got me thinking.